Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Speak. Specifically, we are now going to be reading assignment number 4. Now, the four sections of assignment number 4, there's only 4 today. It's going to be burrow, devils destroy, cheerleaders, and the opposite of inspiration is expiration. Again, for assignment number 4, you know what you have to do. Make sure you get all parts of the assignment done. You're going to have to define the vocabulary, write a couple of original sentences, answer the questions correctly, and of course, give me my open-ended essay paragraph minimum. Make sure you're answering that with details either from the book or your life. And of course, if you want to get crazy and really wow me, you would give examples from both and link the two together. That would be awesome. All right, so let's go. Remember, we're finding more out about Melinda. Why is she experiencing all these problems? Why does everybody can't stand her? I guess the real thing is what really happened. Remember, she said that her friend, or ex-friend, Rachel/Rochelle, doesn't even ask what really happened. So they're out there hating her for something that didn't even really happen, which is very frustrating. Now, why doesn't she tell them? Because A, nobody's talking to her. They won't listen to her. They won't give her a time of day. They won't even look at her. And B, she has that physical problem where she literally can't say what she wants to say because she's so upset about what happened. There's a bunch of other things that show us that she's upset. We've seen it. She sleeps in her closet, for crying out loud. She hides her mirror so she doesn't have to look at herself because A, she doesn't really clean herself. Her hair is messed up. Her clothes are dirty. She doesn't like her face. And specifically, she said she's even chewing up her lips to the point where they're scabby and bloody. So why? Why is this all happening? Why isn't she speaking to her parents? Why isn't she speaking to her teachers? I said yesterday, it's probably because she doesn't trust them. She tries to speak to Rachel/Rochelle, but even her, she doesn't listen to her. So let's see what happens. Let's go on. A woman yanked me from study hall and forced me to make up my missing homework in her room. She made fluttering noises of concern and mentioned a meeting with my parents. Not good. Nobody bothered to tell me that study hall was being held in the library today. By the time I find it, the period is almost over. I'm dead. I try to explain to the librarian, but I keep stuttering and nothing comes out right. Librarian, calm down. It's okay. Don't get upset. You're Melinda Sordino, right? Don't worry. I'll mark you present. Let me show you how it works. If you think you're going to be late, just ask a teacher for a late pass, see? No need for tears. She holds up a small green pad. My get out of jail free cards. I smile and try to choke out a thank you, but I can't say anything. She thinks I'm overcome with emotion because she didn't bust me. Close enough. There's not enough time for a nap, so I check out a stack of books to make the librarian happy. I might even read one. I don't come up with my brilliant idea right then and there. It is born when Mr. Neck tracks me through the cafeteria demanding my 20 ways the Iroquois survived the forest homework. I pretend that I don't see him. I cut through the lunch line, loop around a couple making out by the door, and start down a hall. Mr. Neck stops to break up the PDA. I head for the seniors wing. I am in foreign territory where no freshman has gone before. I don't have time to worry about the looks I'm getting. I can hear Mr. Neck. I turn a corner, open a door, and step into darkness. I hold the doorknob, but Mr. Neck doesn't touch it. I hear his footsteps lumber down the hall. I feel the wall next to the door until I find a light switch. I haven't stumbled into a classroom. It is an old janitor's closet that smells like sour sponges. Now, you would think, ladies and gentlemen, that this is just fiction, that students wouldn't actually run from a teacher, but I have seen it happen. I have dealt with it before, where I've seen a kid doing something wrong in the hall, and I say, hey, you, come over here, and they run from me. It's actually kind of hilarious. Hey, because I've seen you. I know who you are. I will find you later. But even better, nowadays, I mean, I don't think they may have had them when this book was written. This is written in the early 2000s, maybe 2004, 2005, I believe it was published. They may have had cameras in those days in hallways, but we now know that every hallway in Union High School has cameras. And yet I've still seen kids run from me, even on camera. It's hilarious. Now, I've never seen a kid run into a janitor's closet. Let's see what happens. The back wall has built-in shelves filled with dusty textbooks and a few bottles of bleach. A stained armchair and an old-fashioned desk peek from behind a collection of mops and brooms. A cracked mirror tilts over a sink littered with dead roaches crocheted together with cobwebs. The taps are so rusted they don't turn. No janitor has chilled in this closet for a very long time. They have a new lounge and supply room by the loading dock. All the girls avoid it because of the way they stare and whistle softly when we walk by. This closet is abandoned. It has no purpose, no name. It is the perfect place for me. I steal a pad of late passes from Hair Woman's desk. I feel much, much better. Devils destroy. Not only is the homecoming pep rally going to spring me from algebra, it will be a great time to clean up my closet. I brought some sponges from home. No need to goof off in filth. I want to smuggle in a blanket and some potpourri too. This is insane. She's actually redoing the janitor's closet as a place for her to hang out within the school. So she's going into a dark room by herself in order to hang out. And why is she doing that? To get away from everybody else, everybody who doesn't like her, who doesn't want her around. My plan is to walk toward the auditorium with the rest of the crowd, then duck in a bathroom until the coast is clear. I would have made it past the teachers with no problem, but I forgot to factor in Heather. Just as the escape bathroom comes into sight, Heather calls my name, runs up, and grabs my arm. She's bursting with Merriweather pride, all perk and pep and purple, and she assumes I'm just as happy and excited as she is. We troop down for the brainwashing, and she can't stop talking. Heather, this is so exciting, a pep rally. I made extra pom-poms. Here, have one. We'll look great during the wave. I bet the freshman class is the most spirited, don't you? I've always wanted to go to a pep rally. Can you imagine what it must be like to be on the football team and have the whole school supporting you? That is so powerful. Do you think they'll win tonight? They will. I just know they will. It's been a hard season so far, but we'll get them going, won't we, Mel? Her enthusiasm makes me itch, but sarcasm would go right over her head. It won't kill me to go to the rally. I have someone to sit with. That counts as a step up on the ladder of social acceptability. How bad could a rally be? I want to stand by the doors, but Heather dragged me up into the freshman section of the bleachers. I know these guys, she says. They work with me on the newspaper. The newspaper? We have a newspaper? She introduces me to a bunch of pale, zitty faces. I vaguely recognize a couple. The rest must have gone to the other middle school. I curve up the corners of my mouth without biting my lips. A small step. Look at that. I curve up the corner of my mouth. What does that mean? Curving up the corners of your mouth? She smiles just a little bit to try to look normal. She says a small step. Heather beams and hands me a pom-pom. I relax an eensy bit. The girl behind me taps me on the shoulder with her long black nails. She had heard Heather introduce me. Sordino, she asks. You're Melinda Sordino? I turn around. She blows a black bubble and sucks it back into her mouth. I nod. Heather waves to a sophomore she knows across the gym. The girl pokes me harder. Aren't you the one who called the cops at Kyle Rogers' party at the end of the summer? Ah, so we're finding out what happens. This has to be the night. Why does everybody hate her? She called the cops at a party. I'm guessing that the cops came and arrested some kids. Kids got in trouble by their parents or by the police, whatever. The question actually really becomes to us, and even to this girl behind her, why did you call the cops? What happened? I mean, did you call to have the party broken up? If that's the case, why did she even go to the party? You get my point? She wouldn't have gone if she wanted the party to be broken up. So what happened? Why'd she call the police? That's the question that you should be asking her. Not, isn't it you, but what happened? A block of ice freezes our section of the bleachers. So I guess what that means is everybody heard her question and they all freeze and listen to the answer. Heads snap in my direction with the sound of 100 paparazzi cameras. I can't feel my fingers. I shake my head. So she's so nervous now because of everybody, all this negative attention is on her. She's actually losing the feeling in her fingers. That's serious. And she loses the ability to speak again, of course. She's lost that. She can't get it out. I shake my head. Another girl chimes in. My brother got arrested at that party. He got fired because of the arrest. I can't believe you did that, asshole. You don't understand, my head voice answers. Too bad she can't hear it. Now listen, in her head, she's defending herself, but she can't speak because she's so upset. What happened? You don't understand, my head voice answers. Too bad she can't hear it. My throat squeezes shut as if 2 hands of black fingernails are clamped on my windpipe. I've worked so hard to forget every second of that stupid party. First of all, has she forgotten that party? No, clearly she hasn't. This is what's been affecting her for these last 2 months so badly. What happened? I've worked so hard to forget every second of that stupid party, and here I am in the middle of a hostile crowd that hates me for what I had to do. Listen to that sentence right there. Again, we get most of the truth from her thoughts because she doesn't speak much. She says, I am in the middle of a hostile crowd that hates me for what I had to do. So she's saying she had to call the police. I can't tell them what really happened. I can't even look at that part myself. Listen to that. And she's hiding from herself what happened that day. So that's maybe another reason why she can't tell other people. She can't even talk to herself about it. She can't think about it herself. What happened? Why does she have to call the police? What is bothering her so much? Will we find out? I hope so. An animal noise rustles in my stomach. Heather moves to pat my pom-pom, but pulls her hand back. For a minute, she looks like she'll defend me. No, she won't. So Heather hears all this going on, but does she stand up and defend her one friend in the school? Actually, she doesn't. Why not? Because of her plan. And remember, what's her plan? To join 5 clubs and become popular, become part of the it crowd, and become somebody that everybody likes. And she's now looking at this girl who is her friend, right? The only girl who's really talked to her all year, Melinda. And she's not defending her because she doesn't want to lose any popularity she's gained, which is awful, isn't it? No, she won't. It might interfere with her plan. I close my eyes. Breathe. Don't say anything. Breathe. The cheerleaders cartwheel into the gym and bellow. The crowd stomps the bleachers and roars back. I put my head in my hands and scream to let out the animal noise and some of that night. So she screams into her hands because she's so upset about that night. No one hears. They're all quite spirited. Why does nobody hear her scream? Because they're all screaming too. This is a pep rally. The band staggers through a song and the cheerleaders bounce. The Blue Devil mascot earns a standing ovation by backflipping right into the principal. Principal smiles and shucks us. It has only been 6 weeks since the beginning of school. He still has a sense of humor. Finally, our own devils help him to the gym. The same boys who got detention in elementary school for beating the crap out of people are now rewarded for it. They call it football. The coach introduces the team. I can't tell them apart. Coach Disaster holds the microphone too close to his lips, so all we hear is the sound of his spitting and breathing. The girl behind me jams her knees into my back. They're as sharp as her fingernails. I inch forward in my seat and stare intently at the team. The girl with the arrested brother leans forward. As Heather shakes her pom-poms, the girl yanks my hair. I almost climb up the back of the kid in front of me. He turns and gives me a dirty look. The coach finally hands the wet microphone back to the principal, who introduces us to our very own cheerleaders. They slide into synchronized splits, and the crowd goes nuts. Our cheerleaders are much better at scoring than the football team is. Now that is a very sarcastically hilarious sentence. Listen to that again. Our cheerleaders are much better at scoring than the football team is. What is she insinuating there? Cheerleaders. She's actually insinuating 2 things. She's insinuating something awful about the cheerleaders and something crappy about the football team. What is she saying about the cheerleaders and the football team? Cheerleaders. There are 12 of them: Jenny, Jen, Jenna, Ashley, Aubrey, Amber, Colleen, Caitlin, Marcy, Donner, Blitzen, and Raven. Raven is the captain. Blondest of the blondes. My parents didn't raise me to be religious. The closest we come to worship is the trinity of Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. I think the Merriweather cheerleaders confused me because I missed out on Sunday school. It has to be a miracle. There's no other explanation. How else could they sleep with the football team on Saturday night and be reincarnated as virginal goddesses on Monday? It's as if they operate in 2 realities simultaneously. In one universe, they're gorgeous, straight-teethed, long-legged, wrapped in designer fashions and given sports cars on their 16th birthdays. Teachers smile at them and grade them on the curve. They know the first names of the staff. They're the pride of the Trojans. Oops, I mean the pride of the Blue Devils. In universe number 2, they throw parties wild enough to attract college students. They worship the stink of eau de Jacques. They rent beach houses in Cancun during spring break and get group rate abortions before the prom. They're so cute. And they cheer on our boys, inciting them to violence, and we hope victory. These are our role models, the girls who have it all. I bet none of them ever stutter or screw up or feel like their brains are dissolving into marshmallow fluff. They all have beautiful lips, carefully outlined in red and polished to a shine. Now, I'm not going to talk about what she said about the cheerleaders, what she insinuates about them. That's on her. I don't believe it necessarily, but that's what she thinks. I don't even know if she believes it. I think she's angry at these cheerleaders and jealous of them, not necessarily because they're popular and whatnot, but because she mistakenly thinks that they don't have any problems. Listen to what she says. She says, I bet none of them ever stutter or screw up or feel like their brains are dissolving into marshmallow fluff. Of course they do. They're teenage girls as well. They make mistakes. They're unsure of themselves and their futures right now. Do they have more friends? Yeah, than her? Yes, they do. But that doesn't mean they think they're perfect or they are perfect. They're humans too. But she can't see that right now. She sees everybody as an enemy of her because they're all seemingly her enemy, right? Why does she mention their lips? They all have beautiful lips, carefully outlined and red and polished to a shine. Why? Because she bites her lips and she's jealous of them as well for that they don't have this problem. And why don't they have this problem? Because what happened to her at that party didn't happen to them. Now, is she wishing that happens to them? Oh, absolutely not. I think she's just jealous that they don't have to deal with her problems. And I'm going to say it again. She doesn't realize it, and everybody else doesn't realize it. You look around and you see other people and you think their lives are wonderful and perfect and everything's great, but it's just not the case all the time. Everybody has problems with themselves, with their families, with their friends, with their animals. I mean, whatever, everybody, you just don't know it, right? You can't tell. When the pep rally ends, I am accidentally knocked down 3 rows of bleachers. All right, time out. Is she accidentally knocked down? No. Probably the girl from behind her pushes her down the bleacher stairs. If I ever form my own clan, we'll be the anti-cheerleaders. We will not sit in the bleachers. We will wander underneath them and commit mild acts of mayhem. The opposite of inspiration is expiration. For a solid week, ever since pep rally, I've been painting watercolors of trees that have been hit by lightning. I try to paint them so they're nearly dead, but not totally. Mr. Freeman doesn't say a word to me about them. He just raises his eyebrows. One picture is so dark you can barely see the tree at all. We are all floundering. Ivy pulled clowns as her assignment. She tells Mr. Freeman she hates clowns. A clown scared her when she was a little girl and it put her into therapy. Mr. Freeman says fear is a great place to begin art. Another girl whines that brain is just too gross a subject for her. She wants kittens or rainbows. Mr. Freeman throws his hands in the air. Enough. Please turn your attention to the bookshelves. We dutifully turn and stare. Books? This is art class. What do we need books? If you're stumped, you may take some time to study the masters. He pulls out an armful. Kahlo, Monet, O'Keeffe, Pollock, Picasso, Dali. They did not complain about subject. They mined every subject for the root of its meaning. Of course, they didn't have a school board forcing them to paint with both hands tied behind their backs. They had patrons who understood the need to pay for basic things such as paper and paint. We groan. He's off on the school board thing again. The school board has cut his supply budget, telling him to make do with the stuff left over from last year. No new paint, no extra paper. He'll rant for the rest of the period, 43 minutes. The room is warm, filled with sun and paint fumes. 3 kids fall dead asleep, eye twitches, snores, and everything. I stay awake. I take out a page of notebook paper and pen and doodle a tree, my 2nd grade version. Hopeless, I crumble it into a ball and take out another sheet. How hard can it be to put a tree on a piece of paper? 2 vertical lines for the trunk. Maybe some thick branches, a bunch of thinner branches, and plenty of leaves to hide the mistakes. I draw a horizontal line for the ground and a daisy popping up next to the tree. Somehow, I don't think Mr. Freeman is going to find much emotion in it. I don't find any. He started out as such a cool teacher. Is he going to make us thrash around with this ridiculous assignment without helping us? All right. I have read all 4 parts of assignment number 4. Again, those 4 parts were our fearless leader, phys ed. I'm sorry. That was last one. Duh. Sorry, I'm going to say it again. For assignment 4 was burrow, devils destroy, cheerleaders, and the opposite of inspiration is expiration. We will pick it up tomorrow from acting in assignment number 5. Everybody have a lovely day. Thank you very much.